I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. Played the Charlotte Hornets tonight in Charlotte. I'm going to call it a big game just because this is a team we might see in the first round. Now, it's not a big game in terms of Pistons don't really have anything else to play for. Number one seed, locked up. Home court advantage, locked up. This was a game that I thought was very important because you could see these guys in a week. But we're going to get into our post game show. We're going to be going over quarter notes. We're going over the box score and the team stats. But before we do start this post game podcast, I want to give a shout out to our brand new member. And I love the name. I really do be liking the Pistons. Shout out to you for becoming a Pistons Talk member. You guys can become a Pistons Talk member on our YouTube channel. Have custom stickers, custom shout outs if you guys want to be a Pistons Talk member. But we're going to get into this post-game show, you guys. Let's start with these quarter notes. So, first quarter, Charlotte got out to a 4-0 lead very early on, and both of the baskets were by Brandon Miller. And then he tried to start stuff with Duncan Robinson. Now, as you guys know, when the Pistons played the Hornets, I want to say that was like February, if I do remember correctly. There was an altercation with Duran and Moussa Diabate, and Duncan just kind of walked away. Duncan shoved Brandon Miller back, and he was on a podcast, I believe, not road tripping podcast. I think it was Old Man of the Three. That's the podcast he was on with Stu, kind of talking about like that, like next time if there is a fight, I'll try to be about that life. Duncan was going at Brandon Miller, but that's how we started the game. Like Charlotte was trying to start fights, which I was like, okay, here we go. In this first quarter, we did have quite a bit of turnovers to start the game, but I felt like as the game kind of went on, there are times we didn't take care of the basketball, but overall, I thought the game was, pretty good. Jalen Duren and Duncan Robinson handled most of the scoring load very early on in this quarter, and you love to see it. Duncan has just been playing so well over his past 10 games or so, and I was looking earlier, I know I'm completely rambling because I saw that Duncan had made over 200 threes, hasn't done that in quite some time, shooting over 40% from three, hasn't done that in over 4 years. He's having a career year with the Detroit Pistons, and I know a lot of us were very upset with Malik Beasley and his kind of situation, what happened this past summer during free agency or right before free agency. I'm not saying that Malik Beasley wouldn't have still been great on this team if he didn't get in trouble. I think he would have, but Duncan Robinson has been really great for the Detroit Pistons, and I did want to give him a shout out. He's been playing really well. If we can get bubble Duncan Robinson, how he was just an absolute flamethrower in the playoffs, this team is going to be very, very scary to deal with. Now, there's another play I do want to talk about in the first quarter, which I don't really understand how this even happened. So Tobias Harris is posting up Colby White, one dribble, makes a fadeaway, gets fouled, obviously, right? Tobias goes to the free throw line. The refs decide while he's about to shoot his free throw, wait a minute, we don't know who actually should be at the free throw line. And Tobias is like, I got fouled. You called the foul. And he gets called for a delay game, which I've never seen that before in my life. Shout out to Gucci Mane. Courtney Kirkland. It was actually official. He kind of looks like Gucci if you look at him. I think he actually officiated the last game that I was at against the Milwaukee Bucks. But he does kind of look like Gucci, and a lot of fans will call him Gucci. But that was a very weird situation. Stu gets Tobias Harris's miss at the free throw line. He has an opportunity to get more points on the board. He splits the pair, but wanted to talk about that situation. I've never seen a ref actually saying, "Oh, wait, are you actually supposed to be at the free throw line?" Wild, man. These officials this year have just been so bad. They've been so bad. Ron Holland, got to talk about Ron Holland, man. That shot, you guys, that 3-point shot looks so damn good. Looks so damn good. And I've been paying so much attention to his landing. His landing has been excellent. His feet are straight up and down. The form, you guys know I've been such a big Ron Holland advocate. I believe in the jump shot. I believe in the two-way possibility. But man, I'm so happy that he is hitting his 3-point shots. Obviously, we can look at the percentage. He's not a good 3-point shooter, but over the past couple of games, that 3-point shot looks fantastic. If he's hitting 3-point shots in the playoffs, and he even said it in a halftime interview with Johnny Kane, saying like, "Hey, it's like I'm about to show the world. I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm ready. Like, let's go." I love the confidence by the kid. I've always believed in him. If you're getting two-way just production out of Ron Holland, man, like might have to start having conversations next season. Like, is he in the starting lineup? Because if you're getting the defense, you're getting the transition, you're getting the energy, the 3-point shot. Might be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but really liked what I saw out of Ron Holland. And 10 points in the first quarter. Like, was great. Charlotte did use their challenge on a Karis LeVert play. They lost their challenge in the first quarter, which was really freaking stupid by Charles Lee. But hey, not a problem. 36-30 after 12 minutes of play. As you guys could tell, I'm very hyped up with this win. Anytime we can beat Charlotte. We'll definitely be talking about some of the bench stuff later as we're going through these quarter notes. Hornets started this second shooting a lot of threes, especially LaMelo Ball. There was one three in particular that I saw all over SportsCenter, a house of highlights. He gets a steal, and it looks like he's going to attempt a layup. He had Ron Holland and Jalen Duren on his tail. He decides, wait a minute, I'm actually going to shoot a quarter three. He is so lucky that went in. If that did not go in, that would have been on Shaqtin' the Fool. That would have been on the internet all freaking week about how low IQ of a player that he actually is. He's very lucky it went in, but he did have a pretty good second quarter. Isaiah Stewart crashed in the glass, just playing bully ball in the paint, bullying Musa Diabate out there. Really missed Isaiah Stewart and just what you get out of him off the bench. And obviously, Jalen Duren, you look at the box score, he had over 20 points, and you'd like, how did he have 20 points when he was in foul trouble? Because he picked up his third foul in the second quarter. Star Thompson's defense, there was a possession where he got a clean block on Sion James. Pistons challenged it and won. He didn't even get fouled. The officials thought it was a foul. Star just challenged the ball, and the Pistons won it. Got the jump ball at center court, got the ball back. But just really proud of this team for staying under control. I know JB always talks about with this team last year, they kind of had to go through playing through chaos. Like last year, if this was this team, I don't know if they win this basketball game. This year, things just don't phase them. Like if Charlotte got a lead or they got within a point or two, the Pistons were like, okay, let's keep playing. Let's keep playing. And they only had a 3-point lead at halftime. It was 68-65. But Charlotte did have a pretty good second quarter, especially with their 3-point shooting from LaMelo Ball and Con Knipple. Coming out of halftime, Jalen Duren picked up his fourth foul very early on. So it was mostly Isaiah Stewart and B-ball Paul Reed out there. Asar made this play, and it was a highlight level real play. He saves the ball, throws it behind his back, and he hits Cade just perfect. Cade hits the basket, falls down, and after Asar gets up and gets a hand on another ball, passes it out to, I believe, Duncan Robinson, and then he gets fouled, and then they have a 3-point play out of it, and they go up 71-67. But the game got a little bit more physical early on. Stu and Musa Diabate got double techs for just trying to rebound the basketball. Don't really agree with the double technical fouls. There's plenty of double technical fouls in this game. LaMelo got away with hooking and grabbing Stu's arm right in front of the official, made a three, didn't really say anything. Stu and JB were visibly upset with the officiating, especially in that third quarter. But the Pistons stayed under control, even though Charlotte got a small lead, and they were able to end the third with a 3-point lead going into the fourth. It was 93-90. Going into the fourth, the bench unit with Jalen Duren just came out so aggressive, tons of energy, and they scored 11 straight. And all those 3-point shots that Charlotte was making in the first two quarters, really, weren't hitting them in the fourth quarter. That was probably the saddest excuse I've seen from a team just jumping with their jump shots, I should say. They just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. And George Blaha, oh my God, man. George Blaha has been on a generational run. He's emptying the clip. I've never heard a play-by-play announcer roast a player for as much as he roasted a player. He roasted LaMelo Ball for a good 20 minutes tonight. Even said Musa Diabate is not an NBA player. He's just athletic. Like George has just been on a heater. Jalen Duren did pick up his fifth foul. Obviously, Stu and Paul Reed kind of finished the game, but Pistons completely just locked up the Hornets all quarter long. They only scored 10 points, and they win their 59th game of the season. And the final score was 118-100. But man, that was just such a great game by the Detroit Pistons, man. It really was. But man, it was such a fun game, and I was so hyped, kind of getting into this game because we're getting closer to the playoffs. I can't wait. I'm sure a lot of you Pistons fans can't wait as well. I'm actually going to take a quick break. I forgot to actually grab the box score and the team stats, but we will be right back, you guys. Let me just go grab them real quick. Okay, you guys, we are back. If you saw that Troy Weaver avatar, you didn't see it. It's such an old avatar, but that kind of shows you how long I've been doing post-game podcasts and just podcasts on this YouTube channel. Had a Troy Weaver avatar. It's my profile picture, but shout out to Troy. Hope he's doing well. But let's get into the box score with you guys, and then if you guys are new here, what we'll do is we'll read the box score and then we'll go over and kind of just read the comments. If you guys are leaving any comments, I do see quite a few comments, so appreciate you guys dropping some comments after this Detroit Pistons victory over the Charlotte Hornets. So Tobias Harris in 25 minutes, you guys had 8 points. He was 3 out of 5 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 1 for 3 from the free throw line, had 6 rebounds. Finished the game with a +2. Duncan Robinson in 26 minutes had 19 points, 6 out of 11 from the field, 3 out of 7 from 3, 4 to 6 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal. Finished the game with a +1. His scoring tonight was fantastic. Jalen Duren in 22 minutes had 20 points, which is wild because he was in foul trouble all night. He was 8 out of 11 from the field, 4 to 4 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, finished with a +3. He had 3 fouls in the second quarter, picked up his 4th foul, and then his 5th foul. He did most of his damage in the 4th quarter. The fact that he got 20 points that fast is incredible by JD. Cade Cunningham in his second game back had a pretty solid game as well. He was 14 points, 7 out of the 13 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 0 for 1 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block, finished with +3. I love that Cade is getting the chance to play some games. get his conditioning up in 28 minutes. That's a good sign. I think, they're trying to ramp him up, and then they'll get a couple of days off before the playoffs start, either on the 18th or the 19th. So I think by the playoffs, Cade is going to get up into the 30-minute per game mark and kind of see where he's at, which love that he's playing in these games. And the way the broadcast is talking, there's been a lot of talk about it. They might try to appeal this, 65 game thing with Cade, because he's probably going to play in the Indiana game, and that'll be 64 games with at least 20 minutes a game. And they're going to try to appeal him trying to make an all NBA team, or, be in consideration for NBA awards. I don't know if he's going to win his case. I really don't know. There are a lot of other stars like Luka Doncic. He's going to finish with 64 games. I don't know if Wemby's going to come back or not. He might finish without 65 games as well. So I think there is going to be a change to the 65 game rule. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be, but I think when you kind of talk about having like Cade, Wemby, and Luka possibly missing out on NBA awards, and they're really close to a 65 game criteria, would not surprise me if we do see a change this summer. But getting him back into the starters, Sar Thompson in 25 minutes finished with 12 points. He was 5 out of 8 from the field, 2 out of 3 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, 3 steals, 1 block, +3. Let's go to the bench. Paul Reed, 10 minutes, had 4 points, 7 rebounds. Very productive by Paul Reed. Finished with +6. Isaiah Stewart in 16 minutes had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, +9. Ron Holland in 21 minutes, 13 points, 5 out of 10 from the field, 3 out of 5 from 3, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal. He was a +10. Javonte Green in 15 minutes had 6 points, finished with 2 rebounds. He was a +15. Karis LeVert in 15 minutes had 6 points as well. He got blocked on a couple of attempts. There was like one in the second quarter. Kind of got his redemption in the second half after dunking, but didn't want to talk about it for a minute. But he did have a okay game off the bench, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, finished with this day 0 in the plus minus. Kevin Huerter in 16 minutes had 5 points. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He was a +22. Marcus Sasser got some garbage time in the fourth quarter, 1 rebound, 1 assist, +1. Chaz Lanier as well, garbage time, 2 minutes, didn't really do anything, but he finished with a +1 in the plus minus. And Danish Jenkins off the bench for the Pistons, 6 points, 2 out of 9 from the field, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, finished with a +14. The only players that did not play, newly acquired Tolu Smith. When I say newly acquired, it's because he's on the roster now, no more two-way. And Isaac Jones, who is a two-way player, who, shout out to Isaac Jones. If you guys don't really follow the G League, he made first team all G League and got player of the month because he absolutely snapped in the month of March in the G League. Could be another find by the Detroit Pistons. Maybe Isaac Jones could be making the roster next season. Never know. Let's go into the team stats with the Pistons and the Hornets. Pistons shot a 51% from the field. They made 45 out of 89 attempts. Charlotte only shot 39%. They shot 34 out of 88 attempts. Pistons shot 33% from 3 to Charlotte's 28. And 9 out of 27 for the Pistons. 13 out of 47 for the Hornets. That's a lot of threes. That is a lot of threes. Going to the free throw line battle, the Pistons shot 73% from the line. Charlotte shot 83. Pistons were 19 out of 26. Charlotte was 19 out of 23. Rebounding battle, the Pistons won that 49-41. Pistons had 16 big offensive rebounds, did keep some possessions alive. They won the assist battle too, very easily, 29-16. Charlotte just, at times they can move the basketball, but they get in funks in the half court where they're just shooting low percentage shots. They're just jacking up threes, trying to get back into games. And I think that's really easy to game plan if you're a team, especially as we get closer to the playoffs. Pistons did have more steals than Charlotte, 13-10, which you love to see. Blocks, They were tied 8 apiece. Turnovers, Pistons had 15, Charlotte had 16, and then points conceded off turnovers. Pistons had 18, Charlotte had 22. But that was just a really good win by the Detroit Pistons, getting their 59th game of the season. But I do want to get into um, one more thing. One more thing. Okay, so the bench. I got to talk about the bench with you guys because I'm dying. Okay, so it was in the fourth quarter. Cade Cunningham played excellent defense on Grant Williams, and Grant kind of tried to flop to get free throws. Didn't happen. Charlotte got the rebound back. LaMelo Ball gets the ball back, and he traveled. Brian Forte called it, and you see like Wendell Moore and Isaac Jones just straight up laughing at him because he's like yelling at the ref. That was the one part where I was like, okay, like the Pistons are up like 20 on Charlotte right now, right? And they're clowning them, they're laughing at him. At the end of the game, if you guys haven't watched it, or if you do follow me on Twitter or Instagram, wherever I did post it. I think I just posted on those two platforms, but I want you to go watch this clip of Jalen Duren because um, Jalen Duren starts barking at JB Bickerstaff, right? And you can read his lips. He's obviously saying like JB, 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 like let's get out of here. Usually, you see players dapping up, talking with each other. There was none of that tonight. JB didn't even shake hands with Charles Lee. He just waved to him like bye. And like Jalen Duren was like, "Hey, let's get out of here. We don't mess with these guys." I mean, the February game when there was a fight, you could tell these teams just do not flat out like each other. If this is a first round matchup, it's going to be cinema. It's going to be absolute cinema. We're going to have to wait and see what does happen with the play-in tournament. But I do want to get into the Q&A with you guys. Let's start it. Got over 30 people in here. Love it. So we got Marquez. Ron Holland is going to be a major problem to the rest of the league if he keeps improving his three-point shooting. Agreed. The three-point shot looks really, really good right now. I love what I'm seeing out of him. I think a lot of times this year when I was looking at Ron, like the form looked good, but I think at times the landing wasn't always consistent. And he talked about this in the summer league when he was working with Fred Vincent, saying like I had to get my landing right. I had to get the timing on my landing better. Fred was working with me on my landing. And I'm looking at his feet like during each shot, and he's going straight up and down. It's no sideways. It's no kind of like his foot's kind of pointing off to the left or the right. He's going straight up and down, and I think that's why he's been making more threes as of late. But it is going to be a problem if he does develop a 3-point shot. As imagine like you got Cade or Duren kicking out the Ron in the corner for three, and he's making let's say around 30%. Next year. Like that'd be great for the Pistons. Maybe he can get up to like 35. You never know. It'd be really cool to see Ron, you know, make more 3-pointers. But I love that he's confident and he hasn't lost his confidence during the season. I know a lot of us we're holding our breath because you're like, please go in. But I'm really happy for the kid. I know he works his ass off. Crispy hat. Yeah, shout out to the Pistons for that. If you guys didn't know, they did invite me out to a game, their last home game, and they hooked us up with a bunch of free merch. I questioned, would they be more motivated to drop this game than be motivated to get 60, but we got one game away. Comment comes from Shift. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of had those same opinions because they're like, they don't really have anything to play for. Number one seed is locked up. Um, do they really need to get 60? Should they rest their starters? Obviously, this team knows that playing good basketball and having momentum matters. And I kind of talked about it a couple of podcasts ago about like finishing this week strong. Playing at your all-time high, playing some of your best basketball going into the playoffs because you are going to have a couple of days off because you did finish as the one seed and you have to wait for the play-in tournament to kind of just go on and see who you are going to play in the first round. But they can get 60 wins. That'd be incredible. It's only happened 3 times in the franchise history. And something that Greg Kelser, I want to give him a shout out. I did not know this. He said no team in NBA history in a 2-year span has gone from losing 60 games, as you guys remember the Monty year when we went 14-68, to winning 60 games. So if they beat the Pacers, they'll be the first team in NBA history to do that, from losing 60 to winning 60. And that's an incredible turnaround. It really is. I want to give a shout out to Derek Brown. Shout out to him. I always tell you guys, you don't have to do super chats, but if you want to, I really appreciate it. But shout out to Derek. Did leave a super chat. Hope all is well, man. Thanks for all the coverage and what you've done since the rebuild started. Pretty cool seeing the players get better over the years. It's our year. Yeah, it is really cool to kind of just see the progression, during the rebuild. It's really cool to see the same guys that went through that went through years when they're only winning 20 games, have all the success that they're having now. And you can kind of see the confidence. You can see the confidence in Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, especially. Jalen Duren has been coming out of a shell. I'm sorry. Jalen Duren has been hilarious. Post-game interviews, walking away, saying, I want to tell you something, and walking away. What he did today with JB, saying like, hey, JB, let's get the hell out of here. We don't mess with Charlotte. I just love the progression and the growth. And like Jalen Duren's only 22 and he's already like a vocal leader and like in the locker room. Like anytime you see the Detroit Pistons post the WWE belt, JD is always talking, leading the group, and I love that. But it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun covering this team. It's been a lot of fun doing post-game podcasts with you guys, making content, talking about the Detroit Pistons. It's been quite a long time since, the Pistons were this dominant. I mean, you'd have to go like 20 years ago. And I think I was 14. Yeah, 14. Was just starting high school. So, yeah, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. George gives no Fs anymore, I've noticed. I mean, he's emptying the clip, Tyler. Like, and I love it. Like, there's been so many instances this year of him just going into, whether it's official saying they're blind, just ripping on a player. He's just been in his bag, and I absolutely love it. I love when George just says, like, you know what? Screw it. I'm about to get this takeoff. And he honestly just started the game with Brandon Miller. I mean, going at Moussa Diabate, going at LaMelo Ball, saying it's like, yeah, he's like, if you can stomach all those 3-pointers and like, not hitting the rim, I was like, man, George has just been on a heater. And I love it. I love that by George. I'm gonna get into a couple more comments and questions. Richard, I was wrong about 60 wins. Looks very possible, especially if Indiana plays their fifth strings to end the season. Yeah, man. Indiana, I kind of feel for them. Losing Tyrese for the whole year. I think they'll be back. They'll be back in the playoff picture next year. Getting Zubac at the deadline was really sneaky by them. But they'll be able to possibly win the lottery this year. Like if they win the lottery, like who do they take? Or do they keep the pick? Like that's very possible of them winning the lottery and possibly like just kind of dangling that first overall pick or dangling a top pick. Um, excuse me, but Indiana could have the possibility of adding a very high level player to their core. Obviously, they've just been terrible this year. But the Pistons can win 60 games, man. That's just such a hell of an accomplishment. It really is. When Danis is the point guard, we are unstoppable. Defense 3-1-3. See, I've seen this joke so many times, and we were even talking about it at the Pistons game a couple of days ago. Someone's just like, yeah, when Cade comes back, like, is Danis gonna like not be as comfortable, scoring? And I'm like, I don't know. Like the first time, like Cade was out for a little bit, he had a stint where he was scoring a bunch of points, and He went back to a reserve role and kind of struggled. I'm not saying that he's like going through a slump or struggling, but this is what I'll say about Danis and kind of putting him on the second unit with the reserves. He's one of those players where if you give him the ball and you give him more opportunities, he's going to produce. I think he can still produce off the bench. It's just really hard from going playing, 30, 35 minutes a night, getting, first option looks and creating everything for your teammates to running the second unit. And those same opportunities and those same minutes aren't there. And it's an adjustment period. I do think I like him off the bench. He's shown the ability this year to hit some big time 3-point shots, you guys. He's shown the ability to just play some great overall defense. And he's so fast as a backup point guard for this team. I think he will figure it out. It's just another adjustment period because Cade has come back and he's kind of had to adjust his role of being the second unit point guard, not the starting point guard. But I think he'll figure it out. He's a very smart basketball player. We play the Pacers. Hopefully, we can get that win. Not going to count no team out until the end. Walker, yeah, it would definitely be very cool for them to beat the Pacers. Pretty sure they've beaten them every time this year. There was one game during if you guys remember, it was like the 13 game winning streak where the Pacers almost actually upset the Pistons. But I don't even know who the Pacers are going to start. Jay Huff and who? I really don't know. I really don't know, but I have to wait and see what does happen with the Indiana Pacers and like if we can get 60. Yeah, I hope we can. Think we'll see some Danis and Cade minutes together. I wouldn't rule it out in the playoffs. I really wouldn't rule it out. Pistons fan 11. JB has kind of shown that he's willing to try a lot of different lineup combinations. Wouldn't surprise me if he did. Now, the way Duncan has been playing, I'm not entirely sure. He has really elevated his game over the past 10 games or so. Kevin Herter's also, had opportunities where he's played really well. But I wouldn't rule it out. It really depends on matchups, really depends on which team, advances in this play-in tournament. But it'll be very interesting to see like what does happen. What kind of seats did I get for the Pistons game you went to? So it was a suite. So if you guys ever go to a Pistons game, usually have like the top levels, middle levels, suites, lower bowl, and then courtside. So suites are upstairs. So it was just a suite ticket. So you're able to watch the game from your seats there, and then there's like food and drinks and stuff like that. So it was just a suite. I did take a video on. I uploaded it as a YouTube short. If you guys want to check it out, it's like a little 60-second video, but really really fun. Michigan Hendo, what up, Doe Anthony? Nothing much, man. Just really loving the way that the Detroit Pistons have been playing. Shout out to Michigan, by the way, national champs. Even though I am not a Michigan fan, I will congratulate them. As you guys know, I'm actually a University of North Carolina fan, and I'm really hyped that we got Mike Malone. But shout out to Michigan, man. First time you've won a title since 1989, same year the Detroit Pistons won a title. Maybe history repeats itself. Maybe Pistons are holding the Larry O'Brien. That would be really cool. We'll have to wait and see. Great news. I think the Raptors lost. I think that ensures the Pistons keep the Timberwolves pick in the swap. I haven't checked on that, actually. I really haven't. I know that it's top 19 protected. Let me go on Tankathon right now. This is what I love about doing live streams because you guys will just drop some like news and that I'm not even fully aware of. Yeah, it's at 21 right now. So as long as it doesn't go to 19, the Pistons do keep the pick. What does Tankathon have us mock drafting in April? I'm curious to see who they have us mock drafting. Chris Senek Jr. I don't know about that, man. Really don't know. Where's the Axel at? Wow, lottery going to Miami Heat at 13. Interesting. We will definitely be doing some NBA draft coverage. I am going to reach out to Bryce from the Pistons Pulse. As you guys know, probably one of the best draft guys to talk about, and he's a Piston fan, so there's access there. I want to have Bryce on talking about the NBA draft because the Pistons go from probably having the last pick to having the 21st pick because of that Jaden Ivey trade with the Bulls and the Timberwolves because we swap picks. So Pistons are going to be able to have a midish first round pick, 21. Maybe you can trade up for a prospect that you possibly like. There are some power forwards that I do really like in this draft class. There's also some pretty intriguing two guards as well. Don't really know what Trajan and the Pistons are going to be looking for in this draft. I think a lot of us just kind of look at the power forward position on this team right now, especially with Tobias Harris being in the last year of a contract. Like, do you try to trade up to get a Yaxel? Do you take other power forwards in this draft class that I think could really provide some good minutes off the bench for the Detroit Pistons? I don't really know what the long-term power forward is going to be on this team, and that's what it's going to be so much fun making content for you guys this summer. But good news if the Raptors did lose and we do get to kind of keep that pick. Jay Hart, glad to be back, my guy. How we feeling about the first Pistons team that hit 60 wins? Is that accurate? I don't give a F who we get in the round one. I really want Charlotte to shut up. Feels good. I believe this would be, I'd have to look it up. You guys are making me look up so much stuff. I don't know off the top of my head how many times the Pistons have won 60 straight games. I'm pretty sure it's either 2 or 3 times. I know they did it under Flip Saunders for 1 year. You're going to make me look it up, Jay Hart. So the Pistons have won 60 games. So they did it in 05-06. They won 64. So that was one season they won 60. I want to say they won 60. Yeah, they won 60 when they won the championship in. Oh, they didn't win the championship that year. Oh, actually, yeah, they did. Shut up. They won 60 in 1988-89, and they won the finals. That was their first chip. And they won 59 the next year. Wow. And the Bad Boys were actually like really dominant. So the Pistons have won 60 games, it looks like, twice in the franchise history. So this team would be the third team to do that, which would be really incredible because the two teams that won 60, one won the finals and one made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we're going to have to wait and see what does happen with the Detroit Pistons, getting 60. But I think it would be really cool. Like this team this year they've broken so many records of previous great Detroit Pistons teams that made deep playoff runs, and I think as Pistons fans we should feel really really excited about this team. 3-1-3 elbow. Danis has to go in scoring mode off the bench. I 100% agree with 3-1-3. I think at times he does look to facilitate and set up his teammates. I think where he's at his best is when he's aggressive and looking for his shot. I'm not really too concerned about like kind of the past 2 games. I think he will figure it out. I think he will, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I'm a North Carolina fan, man. I am. I'll admit it. Yeah, Piston fan 11. Thank you for correcting me on the 60 wins. A brand new member wondering what the dog doing says they're going to make it out of the first round for sure, but looking at the playoff seeding has me interested on who they might see. I'm going to pick Philly as their matchup. Your pick. So if we kind of look at the seedings right now, I think Philly is definitely a team that we could possibly see, which is really funny because Tobias Harris literally told Philly, see y'all in the play-in or something like that. Are you guys going to make the play-in? Philly would be a interesting team. I wouldn't rule out Orlando. I don't know what happened to Miami, but they just could not win a game ever since Bam dropped 83. They just have not been the same team. I think you might see Orlando. Who knows if Miami can make it? Charlotte would be a fun one. It definitely would. It would be a very physical, must-see TV battle. But with the news of Joel Embiid having appendicitis, Philly gets a lot easier to handle because you have like Andre Drummond and whoever else is there, starting centers. I saw that they waived campaign and signed Daniel Terry, and they traded Jared McCain. That's the process, man. I don't know. They got Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, who are bucket getters, who could definitely light it up during the playoffs. But Philly, I think would be a pretty easy matchup for the Pistons. I think that the more difficult team that I would be concerned with is Orlando, just because Orlando does have versatile defenders, and especially in a half court setting, like we've seen Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs, Paulo Banchero gets to the free throw line. It's almost as much as SGA. It seems like I think the last time we played them, Orlando got to the free throw line 40 times, which is kind of absurd. Orlando's the one team where I would kind of pause and say, that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be at least a 6 or 7 game series. But Charlotte and Philly, to me, are the two teams that I think the Pistons could probably get out in like 5 games. I really do. But I am going to say they play the Hornets. I think the Hornets will be their first round matchup. I think Orlando puts the belt on Philly in the play-in low key and locks in the 7. But I agree with you, man. Orlando's going to be a tough time. Yeah, I mean, like they're just a really good defensive team. Like even if you look at their record, like their record isn't really proof of like how much talent they actually have. They've had a lot of injuries this past season. I believe Franz Wagner is hurt again. If he was healthy, it kind of adds a whole different dynamic to their team. But he's not healthy. But they're still a good team. I think whoever gets them in the first round, it is going to be a bloodbath. Whoever gets them, because they will feel that first round matchup. But I am going to wrap up this podcast, you guys. We will have one on Sunday, and then I do have one set up early next week. I believe Wednesday we're going to be doing one. We're going to be having a special guest on to talk about the first round and this season, kind of recapping the season, but I don't want to tell you who the guest is yet. Still confirming. Hopefully they do say yes, but appreciate you guys so much rocking with us all season. Again, the Detroit Pistons beat the Charlotte Hornets in dominant fashion, 118-100. We will see you guys on Sunday after the Detroit Pistons play the Indiana Pacers. Maybe we got 60 wins, you guys. Hope you guys have a great night. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.